So basically now we saw that DBMS, I need to like separate the complexity of whatever is happening inside from the user. So to implement that, I will define what is called a logical architecture and a physical architecture. So this logical architecture is so whatever we are seeing these things, you just assume like these are like the things in which it is getting implemented in a DBMS system, right? So the logical is like I am telling it in terms of I am describing a Python program in words, right? I have a 10-line program and I am telling like, okay, this is a program to implement the Fibonacci series using recursion. So that is like a logical architecture similar to that. I am defining from a top level what the DBMS contains. And coming to physical architecture, that's on the right side, the diagram that you can see, and logical architecture is the left side diagram. And the right side diagram, if you see, it has actually object code of program, DML precompiler, query processor, things like that. So these actually physical DBMS architecture actually considers what are the things that are physically present as part of a DBMS. So we need not like learn each of these left side diagram. You can just learn because that thing will be mostly used throughout in our discussions for DBMS. Right side thing is just for your understanding purpose what all are there in a DBMS. And we will be seeing one or two of those in detail since those are important like database manager, query processor we will be seeing later. Then data dictionary we will be seeing, database schema we will be seeing, then functions of DBA we will be seeing, things like that. So other than that, you need not like by heart and all. But the left side thing is very important. So and very simple also. So it has basically 3 layers. I will just divide it. So 1, 2, 3. So it has basically 3-layer architecture. First layer is the user views. So like I told, one for students, one for teachers, one for maybe university officials. So things like that, I need to have different views to each user. So that is at my top level of the logical architecture. Then second level is like what we call as the conceptual level. So the conceptual level, what we have is like similar to what I told, Python program of 10 lines. I try to explain that in words. So that is what happens in this conceptual level. So that you can tell like I am asking the DBMS to create a database having 5 tables. Each table is having so and so data and so and so type. So I am telling at a conceptual level. I am not trying to tell it at like take 5 bytes of data, assign it to so and so data type, things like that. So that is called a conceptual level. Whereas in the internal or physical level, I will actually tell the DBMS, okay, I need to create a database using some B plus tree or something. So for that, you allot me some 2 MB of data, and each query should not take more than 1 KB of data, things like that. I do it at a still lower level compared to the computers. So that is what is called internal or physical level. I will just explain each of these next slide also. So here I am just trying to give you an idea. And what are the people who are accessing it? Each of these levels. So basically, as you can see, user view is what we are mostly concerned about. Like if I am a student, or if I am a teacher, or if I am a university official, I will be mostly concerned only about the user level. So user level, I need to log in. It will be providing me the data, whatever is relevant to me. And whereas conceptual level and internal level are actually used by database administrator or a system administrator. So system administrator is somebody who like assigns the users, who creates the database, things like that. And database administrator is somebody who physically manages the schema, database schema. We will come to that in a short time. So basically, those are the people who basically need access to the conceptual and the internal or physical level of the DBMS. So okay, I think you might have read through this also. I will not repeat once again. And the right side, as I already told, it is a physical architecture. It describes the software components which are used to enter and process data and how these software components are related and interconnected. And this is just a depiction of how it works. It is not like each DBMS will have some blocks here and there extra or less than this. But more or less, most of the DBMS will be implementing the functions as detailed in this diagram. So, okay, I will slow down a bit. Fine, no issues. Okay. Since I'll be repeating most of the things again and again in different slides, so that's why I was moving fast. Okay, I'll slow down, no issues. So basically, same diagram you can see on the top, just for reference I have put. Now we will see what is there in each level. So first level that we saw the external or view level, second level conceptual or global level, and the third level internal or physical level. Now we will see what is happening at each of these levels. So basically, the external or view level, as we saw, the user can either be an application program or an end user, like a teacher, like a student, etc. And it provides a window on the conceptual view, which allows the users to see only the data of interest to them. Right. So this is what we already saw. Only data relevant to a particular user needs to be shown to that user. And there can be many external views, like one for the student, one for the teacher, like that. As any number of external schemas can be defined and they can overlap each other. So overlap means that the student will be seeing his marks, whereas the teacher may be seeing marks of all the students. So the data which is shown by the student as well as the teacher, both marks are present. So that means it is possible to overlap the data in between the views. And second level, conceptual or global level, it presents a logical view of the entire database. This is, as I told, a 10-line Python code I am trying to describe in words. And the internal or physical layer will be like that 10 lines of Python code. So that is how you can maybe differentiate between conceptual and physical level. So, and the conceptual level allows the user to bring all the data together. So I can logically see all the data in a table, like 5 tables are there. Each table is having so and so data, like that. I will be able to access at the conceptual level. So for each database, there will be only one conceptual. So as we saw here, there can be many external views, but the conceptual level and the physical level, there will be only one implementation. And the first stage, if you see the first stage, this is the most important part. The first stage in the design of a database is to define the conceptual view. So if I have any particular requirement, so for implementing a database system, the first thing that I have to do is map my requirements to a conceptual view. And the conceptual view is usually implemented using what is called a data definition language, which will be provided by a DBMS. And this external or view levels will be mostly implemented using what is called the data manipulation languages, which will be mostly provided by DBMS. There are other types of languages like data control language, DML, and select, as in SQL is sometimes called data query language also, and DCL, TCL, some transaction control language. So basically, this DML, DQL, DDL, these 5 types: DDL, DML, DQL, DCL, TCL. We will be seeing these in details when we go to SQL. So these 5 types are basically the type of commands that are usually supported by any DBMS. So the conceptual level is mostly concerned with the DDL, data definition language, and the conceptual level describes all the records and the relationships between the data. And however, it does not provide the lower level system details, storage, access, things like that. It only determines what is the content of information that needs to be present in the database. So the coming to the last level, which is the lowermost level, which is like directly interfacing with the actual computer hardware or the actual OS. So these conceptual and external view are like mostly like the top levels. So the internal or physical level consists of the files which are permanently stored on the hard disk, which is known as the physical database. So as we saw here, the last entry is physical database, and physical layer is directly interfacing to that. And the physical or internal level is the one closest to physical storage, and it provides lower level description of the physical structure. Like my database is stored as a red black tree or B+ tree, my indexes are stored like so and so thing, and my data is stored in this so and so format. So many bytes of data my data is taken. So things like that are actually what is defined in the physical level, and it is the interface between the operating system file system and our conceptual view. And it is this level that records type and methods of storage are defined and how the stored files are accessed. I think one line went down. Okay, no issues. Okay, I hope this is clear. So this is like something that in the first slide that I would say it is most important in whatever like contents that we will be studying today. Because whenever we go to any DBMS, depending on the role that suppose you are trying to get a job for a database administrator or some data analyst, things like that. So if you are attempting for a database administrator, you need to be like very well versed with the conceptual level as well as the internal level. Whereas if you are trying for a data analyst post or a data scientist post, things like that, you will not be like required to like define the data and all, except for maybe like when you are doing your own projects. Mostly when you are working in the enterprise, you will be concerned only with the external or view level, with a view that either you will be defining or your database administrator will define and give for you. So when you are applying for maybe data analyst, data scientist kind of things, you are mostly concerned about the external or view level. So you need to like have a very good understanding of how to implement that. Whereas for DBA kind of things, you need to have a very good understanding of what is happening at these lower levels. And the topics that we are seeing like entity relationship diagrams and all transactions, concurrency and all are actually happening at this place, the conceptual or the global level. And in any typical DBMS course, we will be like giving more focus to this conceptual part for the global level. So we will also be following that. And wherever we will not be seeing into much details of internal or physical level, because that are mostly of interest to a computer science student, and they are slightly advanced with the indexing, type of data structures. So from our point of view, we will try to stick to the first two levels. We will not go into third level, but in our point of view, at any point of view, you need to have some doubts or you need to know something about this, you can always ask. If not to me, I will try to answer. But as part of our discussions, we will not go into this third level, physical level. So now we saw about like three levels, this user view, logical view, physical architecture. Then what is the need for this? That we already told in bits and pieces. I will just consolidate it. What is the need for this three-level architecture? So the three-level architecture actually separates each user's view of the database from the data the database is typically represented. So as I told earlier, a data analyst or a data scientist is only interested in the data that is or whatever inference or insights that they need from the data. Whereas a database administrator is required to know in more detail about how to create the database, how to access data and all. So for somebody who wants to be a DBA, he needs to study only in detail the bottom two things. Whereas somebody who wants a DA or DS needs to only study in detail the first level. But whereas had a description like this is not there, then anybody, whether he wants to be a data analyst, data scientist, DBA, every person has to study all these things. So that is one major study or implement all these. So that is one major advantage by splitting the structure DBMS into three levels. And one thing we already covered, support of multiple user views. Each user is able to access the data relevant to him alone. And sometimes user may want to change the way the data is visible to him or her, so that is also supported. And there is an installation between user programs and data that does not concern them. So this I already told. A user will be shown only the data that is of relevance to him. So he does not need to worry about what are the other data that is present in the database. And there is an installation between conceptual and physical structures. So each level is like can be operated independent of each other. That is, I can change that number of tables or number of data type in the data structure alone without actually modifying much in the other levels. So and similarly here I can change the way the database index are stored in a B+ tree or a black tree. Those kind of things I can modify without changing the database schema which is occurring at the conceptual level. So that way it provides integration between conceptual and physical structures. So all these will lead to, if you see what is the result of all this in the slide that we saw earlier, what are the advantages of DBMS, right? So basically, because of all these things only, what are advantages that we saw that we got by a database approach will come into picture, which is a combined effect of all these points or features that are provided by DBMS. Now we will see 2-3 things. You need not give much attention. You just hear along with what I say, because these are I am just putting for extra information. You may get. Okay, one question from Nishant. In conceptual level, we see the records in the form of tables. Yes, Nishant. In the conceptual, in the view level, we will see it as basically views, which has only the data that we want. In conceptual level, we are concerned about schema. So we will be seeing the records in the form of tables. And where in the physical level, it will be actual byte wise, each byte, how it is stored, things like that. And we will be seeing 2-3 terms. You just need to listen. So when I move to relational models, data models, that time you be more attentive. This thing you can just listen as if you are listening to a talk, that kind of way. So basically a database manager, it is something whatever is shown inside this block. Database manager, if you see in this right side diagram, it comes at this place. So it basically interacts with object code of program, query processor, catalog manager, and bottom at file manager. And inside this, it has 2-3 things. One is authorization control that provides who can access what data. Then another thing of integrity checker that checks whether the data or the whatever is there fits into the constraints. Then there is a command processor which basically if I give a DDL command or DCL command, DQL command, it will basically process it and tell it what to do. Then there's a transaction manager. So we will come into transactions and all in next sessions. And there's a query optimizer. So coming to this integrity checker, command processor, query optimizer, and transaction manager, we will be as well as this recovery. Recovery we will be seeing in detail in the next sessions. So that's why I put this slide. So that time you can relate, like we are covering those all because those all form the part of the database manager, which is another software component that is part of the DBMS. So it basically handles the interaction with file manager, integrity enforcement, security, backup, recovery, and concurrency control. So most of the things we will be covering in the next week's session. And database administrator, whereas we saw here, so the database administrator is actually a person or a role defined for a person. So he is one of the main person who is responsible for this upkeeping of the database. So if you are trying for a database administrator role, what are the functions that you are expecting from a person like that? This is you will be able to. You should be able to define the schema, which like I told earlier, these are the tables that are there. These are the number of data types in that thing, and these are the constraints involved. All those things are collectively called the schema. Then the storage structure and access method definition that comes in the physical level, how you want to store the data. Then schema and physical organization. Suppose something is database is already there and you need to modify it. So then the person responsible for doing that is DBA. Like I told you want to move the index from B+ tree to red black tree, things like that. Then granting of authorization for data access. Like if somebody newly joins in the company and he needs to access the data, then database administrator is supposed to give him access to whatever data that he wants. Only what is relevant to them, like user roles that we saw earlier. And then integrity constraint specification, like what are the type of data that can be accepted, or what are the constraints that needs to be put in the data. So all these things, definition of this keeping all these, ensuring that all these are getting validated properly. All these are the responsibilities of the database administrator. Then coming to, I told earlier that we'll be covering data dictionary. So data dictionary is what is responsible for what we saw earlier. We saw in an earlier slide that a database has a self-describing property. So this self-describing property of a database is brought about by what is called a data dictionary. So a data dictionary actually contains what is called metadata. So metadata is data about data, right? So I have some data and I have some more data which tells me how to interpret this data. So that is what is called metadata. So data dictionary is basically the metadata of the database. So it tells me how the data is organized inside the database. And a data dictionary is a roadmap which gives users to access information within a large database. And the person who will be using this data dictionary throughout will be the database administrator. That it will be the main thing that will be like created by DBA, then used by DBA, then any modifications that DBA does will be affected in this data dictionary. And an ideal data dictionary should include everything a DBA wants to know, like the external, conceptual, and internal database description of entities, what are the type of records, what are the columns in that is attributes or fields, as well as how the columns are related from where the data is coming, and the meaning of data elements. Then synonyms, authorization, and security codes, like who are all accessing the data, what data, how they are provided access, things like that. And how are the schemas and the application programs related, who are the users, and what all data they are authorized to view, and statistics about the database and its usage. So all these things are basically, maybe depending on the DBMS, maybe all these may not be there, but most of these things will be there in any commercial database management system that we see. And the data dictionary is also implemented as another table in the database, or as another database, so that we can query that. So suppose I have a table and I want to know what are the columns in that. So it is actually available in the data dictionary for that corresponding database. So just I can query the data dictionary to get all the columns. And with that information, I can approach my actual database for the whichever columns of interest to me. So to show an example, so suppose I have an employee database that we saw earlier. Suppose there's an employee ID and there is a name for the employee, and then another identity number like Aadhaar, then department ID, gender, employment start date, end date, things like that. There's a table like that. So the data dictionary corresponding to this data, or the metadata for that, will have, like it is having records, employee ID, first name, last name, identification number, etc. And the type of each of this data: integer, variable characters, 50, 50, 15, the integer type, character type, date, then and the description like primary key, employee, first name, last name. So this data dictionary or metadata basically contains the description of how the data is stored inside this actual data table. And another term not directly related to DBMS, but something that you will encounter very frequently when you are discussing something about DBMS is some discussions regarding front end versus back end. So we will just differentiate what is front end versus back end. So if you see here, front end comes here, and the back end is whatever is coming below this is defined as the back end. So basically from the diagram itself, it is clear that users are basically interacting with the front end, and whatever is happening in the below this line is in the back end. So if you compare with our concept, our 3-level logical architecture, this views will come in my front end, and my second and third levels, that is conceptual level and the physical level, will come in my backend in most of the cases. So basically we will just read through. The backend is responsible for managing the physical database and providing the necessary support and mappings for the internal, conceptual, and external levels. And in security, integrity, access control are also the responsibility of the backend. The front end is really just an application that runs on top of the DBMS, They may be provided by the vendor, user, or third party, and the user interacts with the front end and may not even be aware that the backend exists. And this interaction is done through applications and utilities, which are main interface to the DBMS for most users. So I hope this part is clear.